In May of 2022, $40 billion disappeared in about 72 hours. Not stolen from a vault, not lost in a market crash. It simply stopped existing because the entire fortune was built on a magic trick. And the man performing that trick had spent 2 years telling everyone who questioned it that they were too poor to understand. This is the story of Do Kwon and the Terra Luna collapse, the fastest evaporation of wealth in crypto history, explained so simply a 5-year-old could follow along. Meet Do Kwon. 30 years old from South Korea, Stanford educated, hoodie instead of a suit. Confident doesn't begin to describe him. When a famous economist questioned his math, Do replied, and this is a real quote, "I don't debate the poor." His fans loved it. They called themselves the Lunatics, and they wore the name like a badge. Do's company, Terraform Labs, sold 2 coins that worked as a pair. Understanding them is the whole story, so here's the 5-year-old version. The first coin was called UST, and it made one simple promise. 1 UST is always worth exactly $1. Always. A digital dollar running on the blockchain with no bank behind it. Coins like this are called stablecoins because their whole job is to never, ever move. Now, normally, if you promise people a digital dollar, you keep a real dollar in a vault somewhere for every coin you sell. Boring, but safe. Do's design had no vault. Instead, it had a twin. The twin was a coin called Luna, and the 2 coins were connected by one rule, written in code. At any moment, you could trade 1 UST for $1 worth of freshly printed Luna. If UST ever slipped below $1, traders could buy it cheap, swap it for $1 of new Luna, and pocket the difference. That buying pressure would pull UST back up to $1. The system balanced itself, like magic. Think of it as a seesaw. The magic dollar sits on one side, the balloon called Luna sits on the other. As long as the balloon stays inflated, the seesaw stays level, and the magic dollar stays worth exactly $1. Here's the question a 5-year-old would ask, and it's the right question. What happens if the balloon pops? Hold that thought, because first you need to know why $40 billion piled onto this seesaw. The answer was a savings account called Anchor. Terraform built it, and it paid 20% interest a year on UST deposits. Read that again, 20%. A regular bank paid you less than 1%. Anchor promised 20 every year, supposedly forever. That yield was a magnet. Billions poured in. Regular people in South Korea and around the world moved their life savings into UST just to park it in Anchor. At the peak, 3 out of every 4 UST coins in existence sat in that one savings account, all collecting an interest rate that the system itself could not actually afford. Terraform was quietly topping up the interest pool with its own money. Sound familiar? A too-good number paid out of the house's pocket to keep new money flowing in. We've met this creature twice already on this channel, and here's the part the jury cared about. In May of 2021, a full year before the collapse, the magic dollar slipped off its peg for the first time. Do told the world that the algorithm had healed itself. The self-balancing seesaw had worked, he said. Proof the design was sound. That was a lie. Behind the scenes, a high-speed trading firm had secretly spent millions buying UST to push it back to $1. The machine had already failed once, and its inventor covered it up and called it a triumph. Billions of new dollars flowed in on the strength of that lie. Do, meanwhile, got louder. He mocked doubters on Twitter daily. He named his baby daughter Luna, tweeting, "My dearest creation, named after my greatest invention." He bet $1 million publicly that Luna's price would keep climbing. By April of 2022, Luna traded near $119, and the combined ecosystem was worth around $60 billion. The lunatics were rich on paper. One more character enters here, the emergency fund. Do knew the seesaw needed a backstop, so his foundation bought roughly $3 billion of Bitcoin as a reserve, a fire extinguisher for the magic dollar. Remember the fire extinguisher? It gets used, it does not work. Now, May of 2022, the balloon pops. It started quietly over a weekend. A few enormous holders pulled hundreds of millions of UST out of Anchor and sold it. The magic dollar wobbled, 99 cents, 98. In a normal bank, a dip like that means nothing, but the entire Terra system ran on one fuel: belief. The moment UST wasn't worth exactly $1, the only smart move was to get out before everyone else did. A digital bank run at internet speed. And here's where the twin design turned from clever to catastrophic. Every UST that fled was swapped, by the code's own rule, into freshly printed Luna. Panic meant printing. Printing meant Luna's price fell. Luna falling meant the magic dollar had even less behind it, which meant more panic. Down and down, around and around. Engineers actually have a name for this exact failure: the death spiral. The numbers are almost impossible to say out loud. On May 6th, there were about 340 million Luna coins. 1 week later, there were 6.5 trillion. The code printed 20,000 times more coins in 7 days, each one worth less than the last. Luna went from $80 to a fraction of 1 cent. Not down 80%, down 99.99%. The fire extinguisher, $3 billion of Bitcoin, was emptied into the panic in 2 days and vanished like a bucket of water into a burning building. By the end of the week, the magic dollar traded at 13 cents. $40 billion of savings, gone in about 72 hours of true freefall. And unlike FTX, unlike Madoff, there was no vault to raid and no assets to claw back. The money didn't move somewhere. It simply unexisted because most of it had only ever been numbers resting on belief. The human damage was brutal, especially in South Korea, where whole families had trusted Anchor with their savings. Support groups formed. The lunatic's badge of honor became a mark of grief. And Do, 2 weeks after the collapse, he was already pitching Luna 2.0. Then, as South Korean prosecutors closed in, he left the country. His passport was revoked. He said, on Twitter, "I am not on the run." He was on the run. In March of 2023, he was arrested in Montenegro trying to board a private jet with a fake Costa Rican passport. After a 2-year extradition fight, he landed in a New York courtroom. In August of 2025, he pleaded guilty to conspiracy and wire fraud, admitting, among other things, that 2021 bailout lie. And in December of 2025, a judge sentenced him to 15 years in federal prison. So what do you take away from the man who didn't debate the poor? First, a promise written in code is still just a promise. People trusted UST because the rule lived on a blockchain instead of in a banker's mouth. But code can't outlaw panic. The seesaw balanced beautifully right up until the moment everyone jumped off the same side. Second, 20% forever is not a yield, it's a countdown. Every collapse we've covered had one number at its heart that was simply too good. Madoff's 1% a month, FTX's imaginary balances, Anchor's 20%. When the number can't be explained, the number is the lie. And third, watch how a founder treats questions. Madoff showed doubters the door. Sam played video games through meetings. Do tweeted, "I don't debate the poor." Arrogance isn't a personality quirk. In finance, it's load-bearing. The louder someone gets when questioned, the more likely the question was correct. The scam never changes. This time it wore a hoodie and spoke fluent blockchain. The shoebox was digital, the printing press was code, and the collapse took 72 hours instead of 40 years. Faster costume changes, same show. If you want more true stories like this, drawn badly on purpose and explained simply on purpose, subscribe. Next time, the electric truck company worth $30 billion, whose truck only drove downhill.